Hello guys, welcome to our very first demo of the ESP32 chip. The idea of this project is basically just to get the data from our sensor, or the ESP32 temperature and humidity sensor, and push that data to the cloud or to our MQTT broker running at iotcebu.com. The hardware setup for this case is quite simple as well. We only have the sensor here connected to IO16 port 16, some LED to indicate whether our processor is in deep sleep mode or whether it's alive and awake, and that pin is connected to this blue wire right here connected to IO port 4. Okay, so that's with our hardware setup. Let's now look into our software setup. Okay, as you can see here, I'm running a monitor to determine what our ESP32 is doing. What it tries to do when it's awake is it tries to connect to our Wi-Fi first, connect to the internet. This is my SSID for my Wi-Fi. Afterwards, then connects to our secure MQTT running at mqtt.iotcebu.com. It's actually connected to the WebSocket port. And after connecting to the MQTT broker, it tries to send the data it tries to get that data from our sensor, which is right here, and then push that data into MQTT. Afterwards, it disconnects and sleeps for about 20 seconds. So as you can see here, the processor is sleeping, and then it wakes up again after 20 seconds and does the same thing over and over again. So let's try to see how to set this thing up and hopefully be able to compile or flash our chip later. Just give me a minute. Let me try to press control, stop the monitor from running. Okay, so after you checked out the code from this website right here, this is my link to the project. After you check that out, the first thing you need to do is to do a make menu config, which basically sets up the settings for our ESP32. Once you do that, you go into example configuration, make sure that all the settings matches. So we're now connecting to our secure IoT or MQTT broker at iotcebu.com. This is the test user that we're going to use, the password for MQTT, the client ID for our connection. 8083 is actually the secure WebSocket protocol port that we're going to use. IO port 4 is for the LED, and the deep sleep interval, which right now I'm setting it at 20 seconds. So after setting it correctly, just click on save the settings, exit from menu config, and the next thing you're going to do is to build the whole thing, build the firmware and flash the chip. We're going to do that using this command, make flash monitor. Okay, it's going to take a while to build the firmware. By the way, before I forget, you also need to set the correct serial port when you're doing the make menu config, so that you'll be able to flash the firmware through through our USB port here, and listen to that port after you do a make monitor. Okay, so this is about to finish. Compiling all the libraries that are needed for our project, including the MQTT library, which is basically an adaptation of the PAHO MQTT C client included in this project. Okay, so right now this step involves flashing our firmware. And then after flashing, it resets the processor and starts a monitor. It's just basically connecting to the serial port and trying to get all the messages coming out from our ESP32. So right now it's trying to publish the data from our sensor. Let's look it up from our web-based MQTT broker here to find out what's happening. So at this time around 12:36:42, it tries to get data. Oh no, we have a new data coming in. So after 20 seconds, it's going to publish again another set of data. So this web-based MQTT client is listening to our WebSocket port and connecting to the same MQTT broker and listening to this particular topic, IoT Cebu, test user. The hash key here means whatever follows right after that, it's going to listen. Okay, so we have a new data again. So every time our ESP32 is publishing data, you will be able to observe that one here. So that just proves that our ESP32 is actually publishing data out over to our MQTT, our secure MQTT broker. That's it. I hope you guys enjoy this video or probably adapt this particular kind of setup to your own project.